What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay Hatch, Creative Space Podcast, right here at Sound Collective NYC. You know what time it is, behind the scenes with all the creatives and all that good stuff. So I'm here today with a good friend of mine. I haven't seen her since the COVID era. Clap your hands one time for my girl, Dove Clark. Dove, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
It's been a minute.
So formal, should I sit up?
I know, yeah. It's like, it's very casual.
Shoulder
here.
rolls.
So if you were going to explain to somebody what it is that you do, how would you do that? Or what would you say?
Well, usually the easy answer is I say I babysit adults, which everyone gets a kick out of, which I don't anymore. I would say I do much less of that these days. Because for many years I did publicity, worked with a lot of people from the ground up. Some of them have become big stars, and I'm so proud of them. I would say more of what I do. The bulk of my work now is in project management, which is not people management, it is rather the management of your project. And by that, I mean, people automatically think of scheduling, but I really help them navigate the DSPs. A lot of people know about Spotify for artists, Apple for artists, but they don't realize that a lot of these DSPs have artist management panels now. And I'm constantly encouraging people, sign up for these because you get tools that can help you reach your fans directly, but also communicate with the DSPs directly in terms of their playlists, in terms of promoting on their apps. For instance, Pandora, you can do your own drops on Pandora. You can, do different regional promotions for your song. Like if you know that it's hitting in Atlanta, you can do drops just for Atlanta and so forth. So that's a part of it. And then also helping them navigate their distribution. Because a lot of people sign up, whether they're on a complete DIY or they have a distribution that does have people in the door that can help them. Yeah. Those people are swamped every day and they have priority lists that they're given. So no matter what the good meaning A&R tells you, like, hey, come over to us, we'll take care of you. Once you're in the door, if you don't have a hit song, you're not making those priority lists. Right. And that's not them being disingenuous to you. That's them wanting you there because they believe in you, but them also being given a set, book of rules, like they have to do it this way. And then on the flip side, the DSPs will tell you, we can't play list XYZ unless it's on a priority list from your distributor. So it's like learning what you can ask for, learning when to be assertive about asking for it, because you will be surprised how many certain distros or individuals that work within these environments will tell an artist, oh no, we don't do that, or we can't do that, when they absolutely can. They just don't want to because it takes extra steps that they're not willing to do. So it's, what is it in Mean Girls? The teacher said, I'm a pusher. I'm a pusher, Katie. I'm a pusher. I am somebody that is not afraid to be assertive and not afraid to go in and help the artist be assertive about their own brand.
Right.
So that's what I hope I bring to the table. So on the flip side of that, to kind of finish what I do, the other part of my business that I've been curating since around 2008 is YouTube channel management. And back in the olden days of the 2010s, I was constantly on people, use your YouTube channel, use your YouTube channel. And a lot of people, God bless, they want to go with World Star or bigger brands because they had the visibility, right? But the reality was YouTube was setting them up for the mean, goals. They were setting it up because when Google and YouTube completed their merger, YouTube is not social media. YouTube is a video platform that's run by a search engine. So it's the number 2 website in the entire world.
Wow.
Google, YouTube. So I don't really care a lot about what the other social medias are doing because they're not going to do for you what YouTube will do for you. So I preach these things over the years, but as a publicist, I don't think people really took me as seriously. They could see the work I did on the channel and say, oh, that's cool. Okay, thank you. But when they started, certain people, I started, giving them tips or doing the work that I do, and they could see the difference in their money, for one, but also just in their views and their engagement, just by doing it in a way that is compliant with what YouTube wants, it's worked. So I would say the bulk of what I do now is YouTube channel management. And secondarily, project management just for select clients.
Okay. What do you think is some of the more common misconceptions when it comes to new artists that are trying to put their music out on YouTube and trying to get the most out of their streams? Like, what are they not doing that they should be doing?
Most artists are doing a lot wrong.
Okay.
And it's crazy because it's not their fault. There's literally no more YouTube University. There used to be courses that you could take to learn, right? They took those away. There's no YouTube studios in New York. I think they're gonna be opening one back up. But that was where if you had 10,000 subscribers, you could use YouTube's facilities, for free. And it was crazy. No one could believe that. You could use all their camera equipment, their rooms, you could shoot videos, you could do listening sessions for free. And they made all these things for people to win. They just weren't able to get the information to everyone effectively. And, you know, it's like not the artist's fault and it's not really YouTube's fault. I feel like they did everything they could. So that said, what was missing in between there is the education of YouTube. Understanding that, yes, there are shorts on YouTube. This is still not Instagram or TikTok. Right. It's not. So if you treat it that way, you're going to fail because you're not getting the most out of this search engine that could really help you grow.
Yeah.
Another thing people don't understand about YouTube is there's 3 different algorithms. One is your long form video, one is your shorts, and the other is your community page. And that community tab has been there for eons. Some people haven't even completed the verification process on their channel for the community tab to show up. So once they do that, once they finish those things, that community tab is there. I always tell everyone, tell everyone. The people that do YouTube right, NLE Chopper, the GOAT. Yeah. Like, I know he has a team, so everyone goes, oh, he doesn't do it all himself. Of course he doesn't. He has a team. But his team does it right.
Yeah.
Kai Cenat, obviously, that whole gaming contingency, they understand YouTube. They also understand Twitch. It's a whole different thing. But when you're looking at the community tabs, there are a number of people very popular on YouTube who've never used that community tab. And it's a way to reach people on different layers. One is photos. Post photo and a caption. Simple. It reaches people. The second one is polls saying, you know, have you watched my new video yet? Yes, I have. Or, you know what? No, I haven't, but I'm going to go watch it now. And you link the video in the caption, right? So it's, you know, it's hitting them. Another one is quizzes, which is relatively new. It's only been around for, I want to say, maybe a year and a half or so. It's not really, really new. They've been rolling it out to all the channels now. And it's cool because you can ask a trivia question, put 4 answers, have the right one there. So if no matter what they tap, the right one's going to show up and it's going to give you that opportunity as a user to give an explanation. So it could be as simple as, who did I collaborate with my first single? And then you put 4 names and they can pick one. And they'll learn something about you. Okay. So it's just fun, right? The 4th way that you can communicate on community tab is video links. Don't do it. Ironically, and I'm not sure why. I have never asked YouTube why. But for some reason, if you just simply hit the video, drop the video link in, and say, hey, watch my video, no one sees it. The disparity in numbers is, I could do that with a photo and then a link in the caption. I might get 1,000 likes, 10,000 impressions. I do that with just the video. No photo, just the video, and I get 5 likes.
Wow.
It's really weird. Okay. It's like, 60 likes. Or
no videos.
If you promote a video, put a photo there, or you can put up to 5 photos. They all have to be under 6 megs, which will be really, really annoying to whoever's uploading because it'll say, nope, this has to be this big, whatever, so you got to resize the photos. But doing that just gives your fans something to look forward to every day. I could tell you, as a woman of a particular age, okay, when I log on to my YouTube channel, I see a photo of NLE Chopper on the top of my timeline every time I log on. And I log on easily 15 times a day, if not more. So the fact that he's putting out, because it's not just showing me today's photo, or maybe 2 photos, it'll go back in the archives.
Okay.
Same with shorts. People will give up on shorts because, I didn't get a lot of views, so I don't really want to post. No. You want to keep posting because I've managed a couple of very large channels, And I've been able to watch a short that maybe got 300-400 views or likes in the beginning, go all the way viral 2 months later, 3 months later. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not social media. It's a whole other thing. There's ways to work with YouTube that are very helpful. So I feel like that's the biggest thing, just to round this up. The biggest thing that artists are not doing on YouTube is using all of those different algorithms.
Okay.
A lot of them are not understanding the title and the description on your videos. That's what Google reads.
Okay.
All the other stuff really doesn't matter that much,
Gotcha.
as much as those. Yeah.
So when it comes to team, especially in a scenario like this where I think everybody wants to get more content out there, wants to monetize whatever they are that they're doing, who do you suggest, aside from yourself, of course, that they get involved in their team, and who should do what?
Okay, so lawyer. Always have a good lawyer. I think anyone who's worth their weight is going to tell you that.
Right.
You need a good lawyer. Not just because you're going to have a bunch of problems, but also to consult you and give you advice on potential situations, right? Secondly, if you can find a good manager, I think that's important. But I'm watching right now a past client of mine, literally his wife took on management, and she said, I'm going to do this from the ground up. His name is Dear Silas. People might have heard of him. He went pretty viral. I worked with him pre-COVID. As he was coming off of a major label going indie. And this guy is the epitome of using his social media and his YouTube to the fullest extent. His wife jumping in and saying, hey, I'm gonna help manage these things with you, and we're gonna do this together, and really becoming a team, So having someone by your side, even if it's not formally a manager, but someone who can help you, right? Thirdly, I think having a distribution, even if you go to, say, a TuneCore or another DistroKid or any of the great do-it-yourselves, which to me have great customer service. If you email them, they're going to help you. But if you can go to a convention or a conference and find someone in that door that maybe believes in you, that's a good relationship. If you have relationships at distros, I think you have to look at them as a partner, they don't work for you. So you have to be nice and kind to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're there to help you. They're not there to make you a star.
You. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I think once you get to a point where you have a hit record or something that went viral, I think it's smart to hire a publicist that can help you get that further. Because, you may start getting interview requests from indie blogs and things. I think you should do all that. I don't care how small they are, just do it. It builds a foundation. In terms of someone like me that does project management or channel management, I can work with any brand, whether you're brand new or whether you're a multi-million-dollar company. To me, it's literally the same. Each channel is like a snowflake. It's like a puzzle. I actually get really excited. I love it. I go, oh, get my hands on this one.
Right.
I've never been more excited about my work. When it comes to project management, though, it differs because you are dealing with different team members' opinions, the artist's opinions. So an artist, when they pick somebody to help them on the project management side, they should be looking for someone who can take into account everything, but also give them best practices. Let them know what's going to work best for them. Because if all you have around you is yes men all the time, you can easily fall and fail.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So look for people, not that just want to be contrary for the sake of it, but who are okay to say, I don't think that's the best move, and here's why, so that you're able to weigh out your decisions.
Absolutely. So, we always hear the term gone viral in this space. Can you, maybe just in your own words, what does gone viral mean? When do you know something's gone viral? And how do you sustain that, level of success within that specific space?
Well, what's funny is I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm doing this to go viral. And it's you can't predict that.
Right, yeah.
Just like you can't predict how far your star is going to go. It's it's going to have its way.
Yeah.
The algorithm is going to have its way. You can make the best song in the world, say, yeah, this is the one, this is the hit. You don't know what the hit is. The fans will tell you what the hit is, right? So to me, viral is when it does hit the algorithm and then people start to respond. It's I got introduced to a male gay country artist through the algorithm on YouTube. And I was like, I don't know why this is coming to me, but let me click on it because maybe it's not. He is brilliant. His music is amazing. The video was just beautiful. I said, oh, I'm subscribing to this. I like this. You know what I'm saying? It's like I would have never sought this out before. Right. So to me, that's part of viral is finding new fans that the algorithm knows what my interests are. Okay. They know I like a little bit of country music. They know I like a little bit of style, and they know I like stylistic videos, and you know what I mean? So they said, we think you'll like this. So yeah. And when you get something that goes viral, I think it's smart to advertise that. You know what I mean? Let people know that, hey, people are paying attention. Yeah. So
think about your career just in general in music and in journalism and dancing even and all this great stuff. Give everybody a little bit of just some background on how you kind of got started and just in music in general or hip hop in general.
Well, music in general is from a baby. My mom was, you know, as much as she was from the South, she was very much a hippie. She was well-rounded. So we had records from Chuck Berry, Aretha Franklin, we had John Denver, we had, what was his name, Bob Seger, you know, like anything American rock, folk, the Everly Brothers, Elvis, the Beatles, everything you can think of. But what my mom wasn't afraid to do is bring Black music into our home and share it and teach me about these artists and what they did, you know. So that's really unusual. It is for non-Black households to have an archive of Black music is unusual. So I'm grateful to my mom because that was, you know, I'm old. That was in the 60s. I was born in the late 60s. But in the 70s, you know, it was definitely a really defining time for race in this country. So the fact that my mom brought me into music and I got it. I got rhythm. I understood what was happening here as a kid. So when I got older, everyone saying, oh, you're such a good dancer. You're such a good dancer just naturally, like disco and all that. Oh, come on. I was in it. I started playing flute. I wanted to play drums. FYI, she said the drums are for boys. Okay. So I look at this and I'm like drooling. Like, But when I was a kid, you know, that was the thing. It was like you had to play flute or clarinet or, you know. So I played flute, you know, which was classical music. I was in marching band, symphonic band. We did field competitions, the whole nine. But on the back end, by age 15, I was introduced to hip hop. The kids that were breaking and stuff said, oh, you can dance? Oh, come over here. We're going to teach you a thing or two. And they started teaching me how to pop and break and all that. And they're like, oh, you're like our little secret weapon, you know, because nobody's going to see this coming.
Right, we're going to bring you out at the very end.
Facts. That's what they did. So it boosted my confidence because I was kind of a shy kid, believe it or not. I was very much like I just would rather read a book and leave the world behind. I would read the dictionary for fun, you know? So moving forward as a dancer, that was just like, when I get on the dance floor, I'm a whole other person. Yeah. So I was very competitive. I had crews.
Level.
Oh, man. And you couldn't tell me nothing. By the time I was 20-something, I was in the club, and you can check with my peoples. I don't got to hide anything. People that came up with me in the club know. I used to be in the clubs. I was like 5 nights a week. I worked so I could afford to buy cute outfits to go to the club. Gotcha. And yes, we would take the clothes back the next day. We were broke. We would steam the smoke out of them, whatever we had to do. And we went and we had a blast. And then as I got older, of course, people say, oh, you're too old for this. You know, you're in late 20s now. You got to get out of hip hop. Too old. And it was depressing. It was sad. So in my early 30s, I went back to one of my old hobbies, which is photography. And I had a point and shoot. And I started taking photos at the B-boy competitions, at the concerts, whatever I could. Yeah. And next thing you know, somebody said, hey, you know, this is in the era of flash page websites and stuff. And I had friends from OK Player who had a blog. And they said, hey, could you do a photo essay? Like, these photos you sent us of the roots are really cool, but could you write a little about them? So I did. And they're like, wow, you're a really good writer. You should try this. And I'm like, really? I didn't really finish college. I don't, you know, okay, maybe I will. And so next thing you know, I don't even know how it happened. I got introduced to Davey D from the Bay Area, KMEL. Shout out to Davey D, one of my first believers and real mentors in this game, who then introduced me to Wendy Day, still a great friend and mentor and just one of the best in this business. He introduced me to Chuck D, who also, obviously you're a fan, but then to actually meet and get advice and get, firm conversations from such a human is crazy. He introduced me to Chuck and Greg at All Hip Hop, and I started working as a writer for them. And through that, I worked with other magazines and stuff, but I was with All Hip Hop from 2001 to 2008. The thing about that was that even though it was fun and it was exciting, it didn't pay the bills all the way at all in the beginning. And I still lived in the Pacific Northwest. That's where I grew up. So I started doing PR because I met Wordsworth from Lyricist Lounge. Okay, so this is how this went down. I used to go to all the B-boy summits. Even though I wasn't dancing anymore, I would still go whenever I had money, be broke, sleeping 5 people in a room, eating donuts. I'll spend my little vacation I have from my job or my sick days and go to B-boy summits, right? And then from there, I met Sway and Carmelita Sanchez from the Wake Up Show. Carmelita, I was just starting to do PR, and I told her, this is something I'm starting to do. So she tells Crazy Legs from Rocksteady Crew, hey, I got a publicist for you. You should hire her. And so in 2003, he brought me to New York, Chelsea Piers, to do PR for Rocksteady Crew. I was like a fish out of water. It was 90 billion degrees. I had never felt heat like that in my life. People are screaming in my face all day because they wanted to bring in their crews. I didn't know what was going on. But I'll tell you, it was throwing me in the deep end and learn how to swim. Crazy Legs still a great friend of mine to this day. I worked with them for roughly 15 years. But from there, I met Wordsworth from Lyricist Lounge, and I saw him selling his CDs. I said, why are you out here by yourself selling your CDs? Like, you're on TV. And he's like, yeah, that's not how it works. He's like, yeah, it's not really it. So I said, well, let me help you with some interviews. I can help you. And so I started doing, connecting with these writers. Next thing you know, I was working with a guy, his name was Encore from Cali. He ended up getting signed to Hieroglyphics. And then it was Tajay from Hieroglyphics was the first check I ever got as a publicist. So it ended up, and I think I went to Rocksteady the year prior, started doing PR, and then the next year, 2003, was when Crazy Legs brought me out. So it was kind of this chain of events. So by the time 2003 came and I went and I did that, I said, I'm moving to New York. That's it. So I gave up my whole entire life, drove across the country in 2004 by myself with just enough money to stay in hotel rooms. I had $152 in my pocket, 1 month's rent paid with 2 roommates, no plan B, at 37 years old. Everyone laughed. There were people that laughed. Like, oh, that's cute. You're going to go to New York and be a publicist. All right, whatever. Guess who won?
Right.
Guess who's been here 20 years now? Yes, I'm old. It's okay. But I feel like that belief in myself was the one thing that for the first time in my life I discovered. And
Do you feel that it was a natural progression from where you started, or do you feel like your passion kind of drove you to be where you are right now?
That's a good question. I don't think passion drove me. I think sometimes fear drives you, because it's like you get in this mode of either I make this work or I go back to a 9-to-5.
Right.
And when I left 9-to-5 world, there's things that I love about it. I love the camaraderie. I love going to the lunchroom with people. That's the problem, though, is that
Friday.
my little ADHD is like so annoying in a workplace because I'm done with my work. I got my work done. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you working on?
Right.
You're typing really loud. Could you stop? It's annoying me. Now I'm annoyed. I gotta go. And I can't leave. They want me to come in at 9 a.m. I want to come in at 10 a.m. It's just a lot going on there with the 9-to-5 world that didn't work for me. Yeah. And I did it for 17 years, successfully enough to buy clothes to go to the club. So why not, So working for myself has been seat in my pants a lot of the time. There are still times where it's seat in my pants. And then there's times where I'm just balling out of control, where I'm like, oh my God, I had a great month. This is amazing. I wish every month was like this, you know?
You're in Vegas at the table.
Oh my gosh, yeah, slots. But the key is to not gamble all your money. When you get money, you have to save. You have to make sure that your bills are paid. And, you know, it's a lot because all of us have been through hard times lately. Everybody has been through some hard times. So I would say that there are things about my job I'm super passionate about, but I think it's more about the hustle. It's about the innate hustle. My mom, I'm my mother's daughter. She was a hustler. She was in real estate. You know what I mean? I learned a lot from her about sales. I worked in corporate America for some of the best salespeople that you'll ever meet. One of the, someone who taught me the most about business didn't even graduate high school. He was just really good at what he did. He had a door and trim shop, super good. But just, I think there are days I wake up and I'm so excited. Like, oh, I get to work on this channel today. I get to do this today. I got this phone call today. I'm super excited. And there's other days where I wake up and I just go, oh no, forget everybody. You know, so it's not really a common flow of energy every day, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Absolutely. Definitely. Along the way, I'm sure, you know, obviously relationships played a big part of your career.
Yeah.
Was there anybody who stood out as a mentor or somebody who just gave you certain advice that you kind of take with you every day?
Oh, Wendy, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Wendy. Wendy was the first person to tell me. I was writing for a magazine at the time that had a person involved who wasn't very well liked. And I personally liked that person. They hadn't done anything to me, but so, you know, I'm not going to say anything bad. She said, but you need to be careful who you align yourself with in this business. Yeah. Because if you put yourself in situations with somebody who has done bad things to people or doesn't like people, it can stunt your growth really fast. So it's not to say you can't do business with them, but just be aware of it. Right. So that, I think, was the best and first advice that I got going into this, right? Because I'm coming in kind of blind. I really didn't know a lot about the music industry as a business, right? I would say lately, you know, I learn a lot from the Gen Zs. They teach me a lot, and they're all growing up now. You know what I mean? Our oldest Gen Zs are 29 now, and our youngest are like in their tweens, right? But those teens, like, they're sharp. Like, they're so much smarter than we were. They still do dumb things.
Oh, yeah.
But they're just so much more aware and informed than we were at their age. And they teach me every day. Like, they teach me, you know, about, and the way that they express themselves, I love. Because when we were young, Gen X and older millennials in particular, we were told, shut up before I give you something to cry about. Right. Like, you're too sensitive, get over it. You know, it was never an allowance for most of us to be able to express our emotions or how we feel. Very true. Where we've taught Gen Z, use your words, honey. I'm not going to beat you. As soon as we hate it, we should just beat them and get it over with, right? I'm not condoning beating. I'm saying, But I think that it's important that to note that we gave this younger generation the ability to convey how they feel. Yeah. And so we have to respect it when they come to us and say, I don't like how you said that to me. I don't like how this is feeling to me. I don't like how this works. Yeah. Because it triggers us because we never got to do that. Right? So I'm very, very wary of that. I'm aware of that. And so when the younger artists that I work with some 20-something artists, and, you know, they'll come to me and say, well, I'm feeling this way about this. Okay, well, let's talk about it then. Because I want to be able to understand why you feel this way about it so I can help you. Right. What I find with older artists is they'll be, a way that we often say is set in their ways, right? But a lot of that comes from fear of failing, fear of doing something a different way. Yeah. So when you come in forcefully and say, hey, this is going to help you, they often look at it as like you're pushing them. You're bullying them. I've been called a bully, which is hilarious. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm not bullying you. I'm telling you what I know to be successful. Right. And you don't have to do it. You could do whatever you want. But I would be remiss for the person that you are hiring for this job to not give you the best information I could give you, the best practices that I've witnessed work for people.
Yeah.
Right? So when people, I think the challenge is then balancing that communication, right? So mentorship comes in all forms. And I had recently a good friend I've known since I moved to New York 20 years. And I asked him, do you feel this way or that way about the way that I interact with people? And he broke it down. He said, sometimes you are this way. And I understand where it comes from. But maybe you could try X, Y, Z to get that across and say, I love that. I love that I can get feedback from people, whether they know me well or not.
Yeah.
Who can help me grow. And I feel like that awareness has made me so much happier. I'm just a happier person because I can say, wow, I don't always understand where everybody's stuff is coming from, but when people can break it down to me, how maybe what I did contributed to it, or you know what, you're not crazy. That person's just a jerk, and you know what I mean? It's like, accepting that, because some people will gaslight you and make you feel like you're the problem.
Well, it goes back to what you said earlier about not just trying to find yes men on your team, right? So if you're somebody who has gone through this, has gotten results from it, but you're talking to somebody who's been through it and maybe are afraid to fail, they've got to either find somebody who's going to say yes to them and make them happy, or they got to figure out a way to swallow their pride and go forward with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I mean, and I could say on the flip side, I am stubborn about certain things.
Yeah.
I've gone against what my own lawyer told me to do and gotten burned because I did it my way.
Yeah.
And my lawyer said, I don't think you should do that. I think you should do this, So it happens to everybody. Right. But I think, and therein, I'm able to teach better lessons. I mean, God didn't give me children, but he gave me children. I feel like Oprah. These are my children. These are my babies. But I've been able, like just last night, I was watching the, it's not the Country Music Awards, but it's like the
ACM?
Academy of Country Music Awards. And Jelly Roll was up there again, having me bawling my eyes out. I was Jelly Roll's first publicist.
Wow.
And I was able to work with him back when he was working with Lil White on the Snow Project. Mm-hmm. And then later, and that was kind of through Lil White. And then later, they called me and had me working with him while he was developing his singing with Jingle Jared here in New York. Okay. And that was 2015. And so to be able to go last year to his sold-out show in Vegas, and I come backstage and he's like, hey, old friend, how you doing? And he takes my hands like, Dove, I figured it out. And I'm like, you did. That made me Full so circle, proud because I'm like, I remember all the conversations, and to see the baby. I was his first publicist, to see his stars shine and knowing where he was and where his mindset was. Just there's so many people that I was able to work with on the ground floor or through transitional phases. So again, I'm bringing experiences to the table. I've had quite a few that really made it. So I don't consider myself a low-level publicist. I call myself the bandwagon starter. I'm here to help you get your bandwagon out the garage, had to paint the rims together, you know what I'm saying? So everybody can jump on that bandwagon when you're going, but you have to have a foundation. Yeah. Right? So that's why I am passionate about. I'm very passionate about you as an artist winning because the system doesn't care about you. True. The fans love you as long as they can touch you, as long as they can be near you. Your people, some of your own people will actually hold you back. And, people call it like crabs in a barrel mentality, right? But it's really not that. It's more so, again, fear. It's like, I fear that if you get too famous, I won't be able to touch you anymore. I can't pick up the phone and call you. So I'm going to do things that might sabotage this so that you can stay here. Yeah. And sometimes it's very subliminal and it's very subconscious. So artists have to understand that their path, of growth sometimes does take some hard knocks. It does take some hard advice. It does take sometimes trusting new ways of doing things that feel uncomfortable because it's going to push them. Yeah. Because once you get famous, I'm sure any famous person will tell you, it's not as easy as it looks. Yeah.
If you could give just one piece of advice, though, maybe somebody who's trying to get their presence right on DSPs, on social media, just give them a couple quick, this is the first thing you should do, or these are the things you should be aware of.
Photo shoots. Get good photos. I understand a lot of it. And again, going back to my Gen Zs, I love you to death, but God, you love just iPhone pictures so much. But please get somebody who's got a professional camera, take great headshots, get some good artwork, get things that stand out for you. Because that across your DSPs, if I log on to your Spotify or your Apple or your Amazon page or whatever, having those images that stand out is good. Also, your album covers, having images that are going to be about this big on somebody's iPhone, having those stand out in a way that when I look on iTunes, I go, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's number one. The number two thing would be you don't have to write full bios these days. I feel like no one reads it anyway, so don't focus on telling your whole life story and your government name and all. Don't worry about all that. Just get the 5 W's. Who, what, why, where, when. And you can write probably 5 or 6 sentences about yourself so somebody can really understand that. Make sure you're putting that on all your DSPs so people know where you're from, where you're at, what your new project is. If you've got anything significant like shows or anything coming up. I would say also getting outside. Okay? Because us older people understand street teams. We understand going on the road and doing meet and greets and in stores and signings and the whole nine. But I think that the younger generation, unfortunately, and again, this is not their fault, have been taught, oh, the internet reaches globally. So I could just sit here on the internet and buy some ads and reach some people, and I'm going to get famous off this. And again, they're looking for the viral moment, when really, if you just got in a car or a van and went city to city, or just traveled to these music conferences, shooting fish in a barrel, pew, pew. You know what I'm saying? Like, get to as many places where you can meet people, because that's where the real relationships are, is here, right? So those are the key things that I would say. And also make sure that you don't rely on one platform too much. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people are stuck on their Instagram or their TikTok. But get out there and use your YouTube, use your Snapchat, use any new app that comes along that you could put a profile on with your name, do it.
Yeah. You heard it here, man. Dove Clark. Thank you for coming through. Curse Spirit Podcast, Sound Collective NYC, episode number 4.
I'm 4? Wow.
That's what we talk about.
Impressive.
Thanks for tuning in.